everybody. Bobby G here, along with the lovely Mrs. G.
Hello.
The red-headed Mrs. G. It just grew out that way. Yeah.
It did.
Well, another ghost town adventure.
Yes.
Hopefully, we'll see what we find. Today we're going to go check out a town called Beowawe.
Just Beowawe.
Oh, Beowawe.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to check out the ambulance of the town.
The ambiance.
The ambiance. Anyway, so we're going to go check out Beowawe and see what's out there and bring you guys along. And, you know, as usual, if you guys are enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Thumbs up for Mrs. G. All right. Well, we'll see you guys out there.
Bye.
The town and ghost town of Beowawe sits about 6 miles south of Interstate 80 on State Route 306. It's actually quite a beautiful drive. We are now passing over the Humboldt River as we get close to the town of Beowawe. There are a few homes and structures scattered around the current town of Beowawe. Some of them are abandoned and some people still reside in. However, most of the structures seem to have a lot of clutter and old cars and such surrounding them, and it's honestly hard to tell which is abandoned and which people still reside in. After we cross the railroad tracks, we continue south out of town. And off to the west, near the base of the hills, you can see about a dozen different structures, which is the ghost town of Beowawe. And about 2 miles to the east of us is the Maidens Grave Cemetery, which we will check out a little later. So we find an old dirt road and we work our way back towards the structures so we can check these out and see what all is back here. All right, so we made it out to Beowawe. Beowawe. And behind us are several old buildings from the original town of Beowawe. I believe that's what they are. And we're going to check these things out. We start off by sending the drone up to get an aerial view of the different structures scattered around this area. And then we'll start hiking around and actually checking these places out. Beowawe was formed in 1868, and from all the research I've done, there's a lot of different opinions and myths on this place. Everything from how it got its name to the actual history of this area. Bird flew out, scared me. Thought it was a ghost. It was coming to drag me in. You haven't heard of the Beowawe monster?
No.
The Beowawe monster lives around here. those are bullet holes or what in those walls, but there's definitely a lot of them. There are a couple different stories on how Beowawe got its name. They both agree that it is a Native American word. One of them refers to the word gate, referring to the passage through the nearby hills. The other one is in the mid-1800s, a guy exploring the area looking for a home site by the name of J.A. Fillmore, who was a very large man, happened to drop his pants to take a dump, and a Paiute woman happened to come walking up behind him, and the sight scared her, and she ran off yelling, "Beowawe, Beowawe," which means big ass, big ass. I like the second story better. As I mentioned earlier, Beowawe was formed in 1868. After that, though, the history gets a little cloudy. Some say most of the residents were Chinese construction workers that were building the nearby railroads. Others say this was a main shipping point for the nearby mines and was mostly inhabited by whites. Either way, in 1909, a power plant was built nearby, but in 1916, the boom had pretty much ended and most of the people had moved on. In the heyday, there was probably about 60 people here, but the town had a school, a church, post office, store, hotel, saloon, and dance hall, and they held weekly dances here. Sounds like this was the place to be for the surrounding residents. Beowawe sits along the California Trail, which was a main route for immigrants heading west towards California and Oregon back in the 1800s. One of the things that really caught me by surprise was the amount of deaths that happened in this area. For many decades, there were battles or senseless murders between immigrants and Native Americans. Whether the Native Americans were killing the people traveling through, or the people traveling through were senselessly killing Native Americans. But the amount of death that happened in this area is just overwhelming. Hundreds of lives. Look, it's a two-seater for when you want to share those special moments with a close friend. Check this place out. It's almost move-in ready. There's even an old couch and a chair just waiting for you. Over the years, I'm assuming there were a lot of squatters and different things hanging out in this area because there's a lot of semi-modern old junk just sort of laying around a lot of these structures. Now we are headed 2 miles to the east to go check out the Maidens Grave Cemetery. There's a lot of markers here from the 1800s, as well as a few modern ones. There's more people in this cemetery than there are in the town of Beowawe. Now this place is called the Maidens Grave Cemetery because of the very first person buried here, Lucinda Duncan, and her grave is marked by a very large white cross. Now the myths about Lucinda Duncan said that she was 18 years old on a wagon train headed to California, and she was either killed by Native Americans or she fell off a cliff. However, the diary of the wagon train leader, Michael Yeager, was discovered, and it turns out that Lucinda Duncan was no maiden at all. She had died August 26, 1863, and she was a 70-year-old woman, a grandmother on a wagon train to California. It says that she had died of a heart attack, and she was buried right here at this spot. Some of the myths say she was buried by the river, and railroad workers had moved her up to this spot. But according to the diary, this is where she is buried. And then the rest of the graves had come in around it. There's even some modern graves in this area. But when you look around, there's a lot of older graves, and once again with these old cemeteries, it's a big reminder of how hard life was back in the day by the young ages of a lot of the people buried here.
But then I found, 'cause what do you find? You find your